Never gonna die!
Alright, chat. Woo! Get that shit out of here. As soon as my frames stop dropping, hopefully. But alright, chat. This is the story of Formal, the greatest FPS player of all time. Let's peep this shit.
Matthew Formal Piper competed at his first event way back at 2009's MLG Anaheim at just 14 years of age. A top 32 placing that would steadily improve over the coming years, with his first big moment arriving at MLG Dallas 2011, now on Halo Reach, placing 5th on a team named Soul. Just across the tournament hall was Scump, winning his first championship in Call of Duty, and whose path was now on a collision course with Formal. His raw aim, renowned proficiency with the sniper rifle, and coolness under pressure were getting noticed by established names, and he would move teams in search of better opportunities after almost every event, a ruthless ambition that remained for his entire career. After his first ever third place finish at Raleigh on Believe the Hype, he ditched that roster for Dynasty. This paid off in spades at 2011's MLG Orlando, dominating the grand finals against some former and some future teammates to take his first championship victory.
Just crazy headshots with the sniper, and especially on this map he gets crazy angles. You see there, 2 for 2 with the headshots.
Power up outside.
It's literally crazy to think about this event now. Because this was Orlando 2011? 2012? 2011?
It makes no sense. I'm stupid.
It could be, but there it is, 4 for 4. That's 4
And so when Optic won in Orlando a few months ago, like, bro, just think about winning 2 championships in Orlando like 11 years apart.
Dynasty wins
That fact in of itself is just fucking mind-blowing to me.
Come to learn that getting to the top is one thing, staying there is quite another. After only finishing 5th at the National Championship, Formal teamed up with APG for the first time, and definitely not the last time, to form Ambush. Despite trying many roster iterations, this team could do no better than 3rd in the final events of the Halo Reach season. Halo 4 launched in November 2012, but was dwarfed by the parallel release of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. The lack of developer support for the competitive Halo scene, combined with the explosive growth of Call of Duty, put MLG in a tricky position. Following the first Halo 4 event at MLG Dallas, Halo was axed from the circuit. The future of the esport was deeply at risk. AGL, the Arena Gaming League, attempted to pick up where MLG had left off. Unfortunately, with smaller prize pools and questionable business practices, the size of the competitive
He said questionable business practices. Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Turned 18 and was eager to take advantage of the opportunity. He tasted glory again at AGL Chicago,
Jesus
barely
Christ.
winning $1,000 each, but a world-starring Ninja in the grand finals.
Every time.
Oh, that shit was mean.
The roster then surprisingly removed APG in favor of Pistola.
Yeah, this was back in the day, bro.
Which echoed through time. However controversial though,
a lot of familiar faces in this one. Ninja's one of them.
Domination, winning 3 straight events at Nashville, Knoxville, and UMG Chicago.
You know what? You know what's fucked up too? I was at none of those events. I'm in Nashville. I'm like 90 minutes from Knoxville, maybe a couple hours. Oh! Fuck Halo 4.
Circuit in disarray, Formal decided the time had come to move on from his favorite game. Attending Anaheim in June 2013 cemented this decision, where he has since been spotted in the crowd spectating Scump's famous Yamaha .3 piece and the grand finals itself. Despite practically zero competitive Call of Duty experience, the majority of top Halo pros attempted to make the switch.
Look at Tuger, bro. That's the GOAT.
The best could make it stick at a professional level in both titles, and Formal was already getting attention from big names at his first event in COD Ghosts. Formal saw an opportunity and grabbed it with both hands.
What's up, Paviger?
Even if that meant leaving Ace and Snakebite in the dust, joining Team Fear with Dido, and then Team Caliber with Sharp, Theory, and Goonjar. Multiple pros were not best pleased that this Halo
damn,
star
what a
was
weird
stepping
time in
right
history.
into a top COD team with barely any experience, and he expected to get the blame if they failed to meet expectations.
To be fair, that was when
TK
TK
is
was
a little
good.
different. Like, if we place out of the top 2,
Look at Gandhi,
first
bro.
people are going to blame me. Like, I'm going to be the first to blame because they've gotten second with so many people where they've placed top 3 for so long that if they don't place top 3, then people are going to be like, oh, what are they doing wrong now? Oh, probably that Halo guy, you know.
Qualifying for the World Championship in April, Formal faced off against Scump's Optic Gaming for the very first time in Winners Round 1. He was already gaining a reputation in the community after his team-hopping shenanigans as somewhat of a snake to teammates and an arrogant youngster. This story from Scump gives some insight as to why.
Like, I didn't know, I knew who he was, but I didn't know him at all. He comes up to me and he's like, it's your chance to finally play me on LAN.
We're backstage behind the
Yeah, we're about to play. It was us first TK, our winners round 1. And I'm like, okay. And then we just 3-0 him in literally
I was like
20
trying to get
minutes.
into his head or something. Yeah. I was like, all right, I heard you're pretty good. I get to play me now. And then like, you just got 3 in 20 minutes. I was backing my shit. I was just backing my shit up all pissed. I was just like,
After being 3-0'd by Optic Gaming and having to eat some humble pie, within 30 days he'd upgraded his organisational clout to FaZe Black.
Jesus.
A pair of 5th place finishes with Doug Martin followed, but Formal was already establishing himself as an undeniable talent. Almost every team was eager to bring him into their roster, his pure ability outweighing any potential baggage. By August, he had taken his talents to Envy, who were looking for redemption after another 2nd place finish at Champs that year. Just a few months into his Call of Duty journey, and at the height of the Vector SMG meta, despite being known primarily for his AR play in later years, Formal elevated to best in the game status for the first time at Gfinity 3. Dispatching Optic 3-0 in groups and losing just 1 map all tournament, Formal dropped a 1.35 overall KD.
God damn!
With a 1.86 in Search and Destroy to become the first player in history to win a LAN event in both Halo and now Call of Duty.
Ever since I switched, I never thought that I would actually win one.
Those numbers are fucking gross.
Now that I did, man. I'm just happy I did along with these guys.
But roster chaos was brewing yet again.
Look at this game.
Next destination
Yo, I don't know what this footage is,
topic
but this
as
game was
Call of
actually
Duty
fire.
entered the Jetpack era.
I don't know what that
And
laser
Optic
gun shit
Gaming
was,
were
but
now looking for a new main assault rifle.
AW was actually
Optic
lit.
Formal became official on November the 6th, 2014, being leaked on their website and subsequently confirmed by Scump. Contrary to the fan perception of Formal today, this was a deeply unpopular decision at the time. Clayster had been loyal to Optic and brought them glory at the X Games, but was now getting dropped for a known team sketcher and unproven talent across multiple Call of Duty titles. Some pros still believed Formal was a ghoster, a player only good at COD Ghosts, and expected to fall off massively into the 2015 season. But Formal could not have been more
I've never heard
confident,
anybody
stating
say
they
that
would
ever.
bring
I've never heard that
championships to
term
the Green
before in
Ball
my
with their new
fucking
roster of
life.
Scump, Formal, Crimsix, and Nadeshot. And so began
He's just a
an
ghoster, dude. He's just a boots
three-year
kid.
streak of dominance in Call of Duty history, one which may never again be repeated.
What the fuck?
The fans' opinions of Formal were quickly turning as well, with his charismatic and at times hilarious bromance with Scump blossoming in early 2015. They developed the iconic phrase "time to pound" to refer to the duo. Such was their tendency as an SMG and AR combo. Formal and Scump won
Legendary.
20 events in all their time together, starting at UMG
Legendary.
Orlando before dominating Season 1 with a 38-6 online record and the LAN Championship. 2 weeks later, they won the NA Regional Finals with
Look
an
at Nadeshot.
astonishing 18-1 map count for their 3rd straight title. Understandably, the #1 seed and heavy favourites going into Formal's 2nd World Championship. Everything was going to plan after groups, but they fell to eventual champions denial in Winners Round 1, before being eliminated in 7th place by
That event was
Patrick
goddamn
X
pitiful.
Price and his FaZe Red lineup. Complacency may have played a part, and Formal still had much to learn, but a roster change was brewing. Surrounded by star players, Nadeshot was taking the full heat of the Optic fanbase after every defeat, and retired to pursue content and other ventures. The obvious replacement was Damon Karma Barlow, but while the Canadian got his visa sorted, Optic had to travel to Europe for back-to-back events. Formal helped draft in Enable, the only other Halo
Look
pro
at
to
Enable.
successfully make the switch in 2014, whom Formal teamed with during his first event back in Ghosts. Such was the dominance of this Optic core, they won both events in Europe with Enable and made every single Grand Finals with Karma until the end of the season, winning 4 more events in the process. Formal also established his sniper rifle play as the best in the world, hitting some unreal clips all season long.
Yeah, gonna be tough for Melovate to take this one. Another snipe from Formal. 2 picks in a row for him.
Remember
Sniper
this.
starting to heat up, always dangerous if that's happening. Sees another one at the green shack, going for the sniper ace now. Sees the last one, glowing orange. There it is. Formal with the snipe.
Optic Loki got bailed out too. They're getting pissed on by FaZe at the end of the year, and I think FaZe lost early. They didn't have to play them in
and
finals.
Frustration at not winning champs again was evident. And although the roster had survived 2 years since picking up the supposed Team Sketcher, their future was far from guaranteed. If Karma didn't clutch the legendary 1v1 against Fastballer at CWL Atlanta during Optic's eventual Grand Finals run, they would have placed 6th or worse in 3 straight tournaments, and would certainly have gone their separate ways.
Right. If Damon didn't win that 1v1, our team was chalked for sure. I was gone, 100%. I don't know, the amount of frustration that was just lingering around that time period in my head, it was a lot of frustration, man. It was a really depressing time.
Catalyzed by this comeback run to the Atlanta Finals, and knowing they still had what it takes to win as a team, Optic locked in and turned up, triumphing at 3 more events, including the penultimate tournament. For the 3rd year running, they arrived to champs expected to win. Through focused practice, dedication, and commitment to his craft, Formal had become a truly complete player.
God damn,
Not just
that
his
FTL.
raw aim mechanics, positioning, game knowledge, and
This game was so
awareness,
whack,
his
but competitively it was fun to
astonishingly concise
watch.
and effective communication. Known as the human UAV
don't get it
for the
fucked up,
majority
this game
of
was
his
horrible.
career, there was no man on planet Earth that would have been a more ideal teammate that weekend.
Like, bro, shit like that is so sick. I can't believe they got rid of Uplink. I mean, obviously, like, they got rid of it because it's like a jetpack thing. I don't know, bro. They're playing Control and shit in COD now, which is like the worst possible spectator thing you could possibly ask for.
Unanimously considered the best tournament performance from an individual in Call of Duty history.
Uplink was fucking fire, though.
1.44 overall KD,
God
including a
damn.
1.49 in hardpoints, has set the bar ever since. An outstanding performance from a deserving world champion at last. Presented by Prize Picks,
Those numbers
the home
are
of daily
fucking
fantasy.
filthy,
Pick
dude.
over-unders for the CDL, like whether Scump will get more or less than 59.5 kills over the first 3 maps. And pair your pick with another from Call of Duty, or from any of the numerous other sports and
look
esports
at
where
Ja.
Prize Picks offer lines. Fancy your favourite NBA player scoring over 14 points? Add it to your entry. Select flex or power play depending on your confidence,
Jalen
and
Suggs
enjoy up
ain't
to
getting more than
$100
15.
match deposit when you sign up to Prize Picks using the link in the description box below. Use code BreakingPoint
Jalen Suggs
to let
finna
them
score
know
a
we
hot
sent
9
you.
points.
But tensions were still lingering under the surface. The 2017 season was far from smooth sailing, and Optic had always relied on their talent rather than fundamental good play. That philosophy would not fly as Call of Duty returned to the slower-paced, more strategic style required in World War II.
This game was
After
horrible
losing
too.
in a double best-of-5 to FaZe Clan at Stage 1 playoffs in unbelievable circumstances, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, bro, this attached play is the greatest play of all time. I don't care. I was an Optic fan when I was like growing up as a kid. But like, dude, no bullshit. That's the greatest play of all time, dude. 5-5, 1v3. This guy runs through his own artillery.
Attach comes back. Here's the gunfight. Attach is able to win it. FaZe Clan up 2-0 with the
That's the greatest play of all time. I don't care.
And then it was just like, that was the closest we were going to get in that game for sure. I don't know, it just wasn't in the cards, man. And like, in hindsight, it's easy to say now, like, if we were to have beaten FaZe at that final, we probably would have stuck together for a lot longer. We probably would have played the whole year and probably would still be a team right now. No bullshit. Like, I don't know, it just wasn't in the cards, and we were all fed up with each other.
Formal knew he had to leave for the greater good, and was traded to Luminosity Gaming with Octane going the other way. After beating Optic and outplacing them at CWL Anaheim, Formal then saw his former team bombing out of the 2018 World Championship in the group stages. Certainly he didn't regret the decision to leave.
Damn.
When you look back on this year, is there ever a point where you think, I've made a mistake by leaving Optic and forcing the move to LG?
No, not really. I mean, like, I wouldn't consider it a mistake. I think that we just didn't play to our potential off the rip.
By this time, Champs Formal was
Look at this
becoming
weird-ass
an iconic
stage.
feature of the season finale, and he delivered some stellar performances yet again. While falling just shy of another Grand Finals appearance, his LG roster took the scalps of Contenders Rise Nation and still delivered a 1.38 KD, the highest in the tournament by
As a legend.
far. Many Optic fans still wanted to see Formal succeed, but he hadn't yet proven decisively that breaking up the dynasty was best for both parties. Black Ops 4 was a turning point.
Hey, what's good, Jeremy?
Not only with competitive becoming 5v5, but with Optic triumphing at Vegas with new talent Dashi, and Formal finally lifting another trophy at CWL Fort Worth. However, the remainder of the season wasn't pretty for either roster. Luminosity had heaps of internal drama, so much so that Gunless was benched for their coach towards the end of the year. Optic also struggled
Hey, I
to
feel
hit their
that.
early
That's about to be
season
me
form
here in a
and
minute,
were
bro.
ripe for a roster change with the introduction of the Call of Duty League. Franchising shook up the whole scene, and with the collapse of the dynasty well over a year in the past, time had healed most wounds between Scump and Formal. Scump was eager to upgrade their main AR position from Crimsix, with Formal the obvious candidate. T2P was back together, this time on the Chicago Huntsman, the new home of the Green Wall after Immortals' acquisition of Optic. They started the season just like old times,
Yo.
defeating Crimsix's Dallas
That clip is
Empire at the
fucking
launch
legendary.
weekends, and again in the finals of the London
Oh,
home
shit.
series, in what would be Formal's final ever Call of Duty tournament victory on LAN.
Damn.
The season was postponed
That's
in
crazy.
March 2020 due to the pandemic.
Yeah, 'cause it all went
and the
online.
CDL
Fuck.
turned to solely online play for the next 14 months. The lack of in-person events and the deteriorating quality of the recent COD games started to take its toll on Formal. While he was still, on occasion, the best player in the lobby, it seemed to many that the days of vintage Formal were coming to a close. They won the Seattle home series online in May, but could only manage 4th at Champs. To make matters worse, youngster Shotzi won both Champs, albeit online, and the MVP
damn, that
award
guy's good
season,
too.
to add to his Halo 5 World Championship win in 2018.
I was
Shotzi
there.
made the switch to COD in 2019 for similar reasons to Formal
I was in the
6
crowd
years
somewhere.
prior, and quickly had the accolades to mount a convincing challenge to Formal's status.
Bro, side
Black
note,
Ops Cold
that
War season felt
that World
much the same
Championship
for
that
Formal,
Splice
as the
won,
online
where they
era was
absolutely
draining
ran
his
Tox
passion
in the
for playing
finals,
the game
is
at
the
highest
worst
level. Even
like
with a new
beatdown in the
roster,
finals I've ever
now
seen.
under the Optic brand
Splice
again,
was fucking
Formal
inevitable.
had lost that fearsome energy and fired up demeanor that terrified opponents in years past. While statistically he was still solid and his communication still impeccable, he rarely had those pop-off series and was no longer Optic's most reliable slayer. As results continued to slide, other teams seemed aware that Formal's days in Call of Duty were numbered. Kenny even declared that he was clearly the worst player on Optic's lineup.
Yeah, who's the worst
Damn.
player on Optic Gaming?
Alright, so Formal's the worst player on their team right now.
Bowing out of the World Championship with only a 6th place finish and not seeing a Grand Finals all year, a team change was inevitable. Instead of seeking another roster, Formal's fire had flamed out, and he confirmed his retirement from competition on the 28th of August 2021, an emotional day for Formal and the Call of Duty scene at large.
Just like your dedication
That
to
was
it
a
is not
sad
there.
day.
Yeah.
Until
Yeah,
it
I mean,
wasn't.
Over the years, it's just kind of like, I don't know if it's like the online era of COD that's kind of like been the final, like, you know, the thing that drained me, like, final, but it's just.
Then he came
getting on
back and
streaming every
fucking
day, it's
saved
just, like, not
Halo.
it for me anymore, man. And I might just need a break
Well,
from it for a little bit.
work in
And,
progress.
Like, and I mean, like a year break, and maybe I'll want to do it again, but for right now, like, just that whole process of just scrimming and trying to get good and get better as a team, it's just like, it's just not sounding like fun to me right now. I've said it before in an interview that if I were to ever like be costing my team or, you know, not putting my best foot forward, then why the fuck am I wasting my time with them? Like, these guys are in the prime of their careers, you know, like these young guys. And I'm not gonna sit there and be like, you know, I just don't want these kids to waste their prime years on, you know, me giving half-ass, you know, seasons.
And that looked like the end, the final chapter of a legendary career. The journey into content creation like so many before him beckons. But just at that moment, Halo Infinite arrived. The first mainline Halo release in 6 years. Formal immediately found it a refreshing change from recent Call of Duties. Within just a few days, Formal realised he wasn't washed, he hadn't lost his ability. For a game he enjoyed, the passion to compete was quickly flooding back. Formal being called Formal, team offers were coming in. but he wanted to ensure it didn't mean leaving Optic again.
Yeah, if I can like play under that team while also playing under Optic, then I'll do it.
Formal confirmed he was joining FaZe on a loan arrangement for HCS Raleigh, the opening event of the season. But 2 days later, he was dropped, with Snipedown making his transition back to Halo from Apex Legends. Some
that didn't
thought the
last very
worst
long
of the
either.
Situation, suggesting Formal was past it, and the Halo return would not go to plan. But Formal was keen to play regardless,
yeah, alright, dude.
and accepted an offer from Space Station Gaming, before drama struck the legendary Sentinels lineup just 1 week out from the tournament. Royal 2, who had just won the Raleigh qualifier, was suspended for 2 months after it was discovered that he was geofiltering. Sentinels needed one. Who could they possibly call? Formal had come full circle back to his Ghosts days, being on 4 organizations in a matter of weeks. Things were getting spicy at the Hex
He was
quarters,
back to
with
his
Formal
sketching
now
team
practicing
hopping
for Raleigh
days.
With a powerhouse team just across the room from Optic's
Hey, I got
actual
one of
Halo
those.
team with Trippy, Lucid, Pistola, and old friend APG.
Oh, Ola.
Formal rocked up to HES Raleigh for his first Halo event
I'm sorry,
in 7
my
years,
prince.
since winning the MCC Launch Invitational with Lethal and APG back in 2014. Sentinels had to fight all the way through open brackets after the pre-tournament drama, and eventually played Optic in Winners Round 2.
Here comes the push from Formal. He's not going to be able to stop him.
This first series was not close.
It's going to be Optic Gaming with a 3-0 sweep over the Sentinels here in Winners Round 2.
Caught off guard playing a squad that can actually shoot back, they fell 3-0. But 4 series victories later, including one against Space Station, a rematch was in order.
One of the biggest stories.
This was legendary, bro.
Championship Series
I was in the crowd for this one too.
might be ended here by Formal with the
This is one of my favorite moments I've witnessed live at an event. Fool put up like 21 in Game 5 against Optic to knock them out of the tournament, like on his birthday or some shit. I don't know, bro. It was like 9 things going on. That shit was crazy.
That last Slayer. You played these guys yesterday. You guys lost.
Shout out to Guy
3-0.
Blaze, bro.
What was the difference coming today?
I mean, yesterday it just wasn't really us. We kind of like weren't really ready to play a team like that. We were playing AM teams the whole event, and they're obviously a really good team. So
Yeah.
it made it really hard for us, and we got caught off guard. We just, I don't know, went back to the drawing board. Today we came in, we were like red hot from our other matches, and luckily we got the Game 5.
A last-minute substitute, knocking out his own organization. You just couldn't write these storylines. Sentinels
just
lost
can't
to
write
FaZe
this
in the
shit,
next
bro.
round, but Formal had made his statement.
So like, I'm just like a hired like mercenary right now. Like, you need a substitute, like I'm your guy. But after this event, I would really like to play with the team.
Formal was forced to the sidelines for over 2 months to wait for an opportunity. Meanwhile, Optic were delivering better performances, but never managing to beat Cloud9, the dominant force of the day. Capped off with another Grand Finals defeat to Cloud9 at HCS Anaheim, they decided
Bro, and then
enough
Renegade
was enough.
fucking
Pistola out.
left that team for some
Formal
reason.
in. All those years ago,
Or I
when
think it was
his
after this
career was
next
barely
event.
starting, Formal was instrumental in dropping APG for Pistola. Now it was APG involved in dropping Pistola for Formal. Formal was desperate to bring more championships to the Green Wall, and despite winning an online invitational, they yet again tasted defeat to Cloud9 in Kansas. A controversial roster change for the same result. But with every headshot registered, every match completed, Formal was regaining his comfort zone on a franchise he hadn't
But then,
touched
so
for
they won that
several
event
years.
and Renegade
Also,
leaves
they're
the
gonna
team?
put Stellar here on the scoreboard, make it 11-5. When you're a player like Lucid, killing spree by the wow, my God!
God damn.
Optic soon began to hit untouchable form online.
But obviously, like, he
winning
explained
4 straight
and,
tournaments,
like, talked about how,
including the
like, there was a
Super
difference
for
in, like, attitudes and whatever
$45,000
else, and
first
they weren't on the
prize.
same page. Maybe they didn't get
HCS
along.
Orlando
and
was
lack of
next,
passion, whatever
the
else.
site of 3 previous
But, bro,
Formal
that might go
victories,
down as, like,
2 in COD, and his first
weirder,
ever trophy
one of the
way
weirder
back in
career
2011.
decisions.
Dominating the
Halo
previous
history.
weeks of online play, Optic were barraged by accusations of being onliners and aimed steadfast on tucking the haters into bed.
Formal's 14-4 as they cross the 48 kill mark. Send in Formal. 49. Formal might be the man to do it for Optic. Formal and Trippy.
Optic were untouchable from start to finish.
Bro, all the
The
events this
human
year were
UAV
fire, to be
was back
honest.
in action, defeating Cloud9 in the finals for Formal's first LAN triumph in almost
I got way
3
too
years.
fucked up after this, though.
Not for the first time in Formal's career, they arrived at the
I almost died that
2022
night.
World Championship as heavy favourites, with another $1 million on the line. Friday and Saturday passed without hitch, dropping just one map on their way to the Grand Finals. The crowning achievement of a glittering career was all but secured, but then Optic discovered who their Grand Finals opponents would be, none other than Cloud9.
Noise for Cloud9!
Pop it off, and maybe that's exactly what he's starting to do. Make it a double for Formal.
Sometimes
I was so H4F this weekend.
I ain't here to lose this series.
What's good, Wang Doodle? Welcome, welcome, brother. What's good?
One push is all they need. Stellar's gonna go in first. Big damage. Doesn't take damage himself. The defensive name down. Come in. For Optic, they're not gonna be able to do it. C9 reset the bracket here in Seattle.
Concern was mounting, but coming from the winners bracket and having not lost a series until this one in the tournament, they had one final chance. One more best of 7 for glory. Formal had seen this very moment coming.
Like, maybe there's a reason for me wanting to actually play. Because I was pretty dead set on just like retiring. But something is just.
I know this shit might be a little overplayed, but like it's so dope that
like
there's a clip of him like
Fate was saying like
hauling
you're not
this.
done running your story yet. Like you gotta keep going for a sec. Like make just a few more years because like there's something crazy that comes along the line, you know. And that's what kind of motivates me daily, like, in hopes of that moment.
Last player live, they're gonna get this come on front.
He literally said in that quote, I think it was cut off, he was talking about like standing on the stage like as a world champion in Halo. And it literally happened. Hey, let's go, Wang Doodle. Fuck yeah.
You started your career here in Halo.
Sounds like the vibes.
We've seen you play so many amazing matches. You had a national championship in a different game. But you came back home and you got one for Halo. What does this mean for you?
I mean, these last couple years have been pretty tough in Call of Duty, so I don't know. This was just like a dream come true. I'm just really proud of us, and I'm thankful as hell for you guys, and I'm happy to take it home.
Bringing together all his years of experience, pure ability, and a deeply refined understanding of successful team dynamics, Optic Formal lifted the championship, helped by a monster 1.23 tournament performance from a champion reborn. 4,026 days after his first Halo victory, 23 days after he announced his
see,
retirement,
that shot is crazy. I mentioned it in
won
the
the big one.
process.
The first player
But them,
ever
like,
to win
walking
both
together-
Call of Duty and Halo World Championships on LAN.
Fucking
Rewriting
12,
the record
13
books
years
with
later.
a journey that few
God
others
damn.
have the ambition, let alone the ability to accomplish. Others may well surpass him in time, but Formal is still the one they're all compared to. Still the one you have to take the crown from, and still number one.
Guy's fucking undeniable. Guy's fucking undeniable. Alright, slow the fuck down, autoplay. Alright. Yo. Banger ass video. Shout out to Breaking Point. That's my favorite player of all time right there, bro. That's my favorite player of all time right there. Yo, let's go to Jason. How you doing, brother?